Party people! Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, where the gaming table is always set for two. I am your host as always, Jeff Stormer. This week I am joined by my good friend Will Liam for a game of Sean Smith's EXUVIAE, Relics of House Dragonfly. Will is of course a member of Plus 2 Comedy, is one of the hosts of the Plus 2 Comedy podcast. He's also one of my favorite people to play games with, and I was really excited to get to explore EXUVIAE with him. EXUVIAE is a fascinating and creepy investigative horror role-playing game, set in a Bayside town in the 1940s that has been taken over by a bug cult. Players try to expose this bug cult, while avoiding horrors both human and inhuman. It's a really cool game. EXUVIAE is currently on Kickstarter, and you should totally go check the link in the show notes and back the game for yourself immediately. Let me tell you, the setting is cool and evocative and weird and horrifying in all the right ways, and the mechanics are engaging and interesting, and they propel the story forward in a way that few mystery games do. I cannot recommend EXUVIAE enough. I loved playing this game. It's a game that I want to play again. A link to the Kickstarter where you can learn more can be found in the show notes. One quick gameplay note before we dive in. If you're listening to this from the Kickstarter or trying to get a better idea of how the game is played, we do get one thing wrong. I realized after the recording, we had based the play deck structure too closely on Osmosis Solitaire and flipped the top card on each of the three EXUVIAE. You're not supposed to do that. So just keep that in mind as you're listening. Finally, before we dive in, a special thank you goes out to David Fitzwater and Erica Chappell for your support on Patreon. Patreon support, if you have not considered it, is a tremendous and personal way to help the show grow and achieve bigger and better things. We're over halfway to our next stretch goal, which is a proper Party of One website. I'm really excited about that because there's a lot of things that I'd like to put on a website that once we have the funds locked down, I can't wait. One thing in particular that I'm really looking forward to is having recommended listening guides for Party of One. You know, we jump around a lot in terms of tone and genre, and I'd like to be able to say, hey, if you like a sad game, here are some sad games we played. If you like something funny, here are some funny games we played. I think that's going to be a tremendous resource. So thank you all so much for your Patreon support, and with all that out of the way, let's throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. This week I'm sitting down once again with Will Liam. Will, thanks for coming back on Party of One.
Thanks for having me.
So, real quick, as we like to do at the top of the show, why don't you talk about anything you might have going up, any projects you might be working on, etc., and so forth.
I almost froze as soon as you said that. I just spent 10 minutes writing everything down. I was like, never mind, it's not worth it. Because we're doing something Easter, and I think that's before this comes out. So you guys just missed, I think, John Con.
All right.
Which is fine. There's a little con in Baltimore, and it's awesome. I didn't put month. I'm the worst at promoting anything. I'm part of a duo.
Right.
Noah can function without me. I'm a mess. It is the worst. April 30th, we're going to be in Lancaster, Pennsylvania for ZenkaiCon. And the day before that, we're going to be in Newark, New Jersey for the Castle Point Anime Convention.
That's awesome. That's exciting.
Doing stand-up. You don't care what I do.
People care. People care.
I'm in Plus 2 Comedy. We do nerdy stand-up. And we do professional wrestling, too.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be doing at ZenkaiCon.
Yeah. In fact, people also just missed the Cosplay Pro Show at...
They sure did.
The Age of Cosplay fundraiser.
Man, you're going to be disappointed. It's really awesome.
You missed out on some cool stuff because I didn't tell you about any of it. So this week we are playing EXUVIAE. It is a game about cults and mysteries and a mysterious town that is plagued by a mysterious, perhaps malicious organization.
It's 100% malicious.
Yes, it's 100. It's a creepy bug cult. So
Don't ruin it.
Spoiler alert! I'm gonna put a beep over that. It's gonna be very funny. So why don't you introduce me to your character this week?
Okay. My character's name is Flynn Kelly. I'm an ex-cop. I got fired from the force because I wouldn't listen. I was pursuing my case, which is
this case.
Yeah, it's I want to say.
Start at the beginning for me. Walk me through Flynn Kelly's walk me from the beginning of what led Flynn Kelly to the small town of Angelford,
I don't like
Michigan.
That name at all. Actually, it grew on me in a couple of seconds. He was a good cop, and he had his problems. All cops do. Kind of a drinker, and he found a body in an abandoned. They called in a body, and he thought it looked kind of weird. Looked like maybe an animal had gotten at it. So he checked it up, followed up with the coroner. The coroner said, "This is not a wolf. It's not a bear. I don't know what would do this." And so he kept looking into it. He was just asking around, and his superiors kept telling him, just leave it alone. Just an animal did it, reports in, it's fine. And then I think maybe he found another one, and he was like, this is happening.
Yeah.
Like, people could be doing this. And every step of the way, everybody else in the force is telling him, stop, leave it alone. And he just, it ruined his marriage. It ruined his, eventually he gets fired. And now he's like a security guard, probably.
Yeah, right.
That's sad life.
Yeah.
I used to be a security guard, guys. It's okay that I could say that it's a very sad
He's
life.
a security guard at the Angelford Municipal Library.
Well, he took the job so he could have access to the library.
Oh,
He's always down in the basement looking at microfiche.
That's clever. I like that. Yeah, okay. So that's Flynn Kelly. And so it is the 1940s.
Yes.
The war has just ended. So it's the late 40s.
Did I skip out on the war? Or am I a draft dodger? Well, no, I'd probably be too old if I'm like a 40-year-old cop.
You were past draft age.
It was a young man's war.
Yeah, you were past draft age.
I have a lot of strong opinions about it, though.
Angelford, Michigan is a small, quiet town. Most people just call it town because it's far enough away from like Detroit where it's not somewhere people go. It's very isolated. It is on Lake Erie, but it is far from any other town along the coast of Lake Erie.
Tough to get there in the winter.
Yeah, and so it's quiet. It's peaceful-ish, At least everybody else would say it's peaceful. Flynn Kelly probably wouldn't say it's peaceful. So our story begins. I'm going to say it's Friday morning. Been a quiet week. No, there's a reading happening at the library where you're working. What does your morning look like?
I get up, usually hungover.
Right.
I need coffee. I get there. The drive is a pain because you're up late drinking. You don't want to make that drive. You're almost fall asleep. He gets there. Caffeine sets in. He's a little better. Nice lady at the front desk makes him feel better. He does like the kids. They come in there, and usually it's a lot of standing around, and you don't really do much as a security guard.
Sure.
Walking the aisles. And then every once in a while, I'll go back down to the basement and just kind of pick up. He's got his own room that nobody was using it. Mm-hmm. It's got those like crazy people.
Yeah,
like,
right. The murder boards?
Newspaper articles are pinned up on the wall.
Yep.
There's like a map of the town where the bodies were found with a little string tied to them.
So you come in to work. You come into the library on this particular Friday, and there's a reading scheduled. There's a reading from a Walter Morris. He is a scholar on early American literature. He specializes in like religious texts of the like 1730s, pre-revolutionary, real early American and like radical religious texts. Now this, for most people, and especially most people in Angelford, this is just a fun thing. We've got a writer coming, we've got somebody coming in from out of town. But for you, something's a little odd about that. Because as you've been looking at these bodies in these cases, you know that there's a surprising amount in the bodies that were found. And there were they had personal libraries full of
the victim.
Yeah, the victims had these bookshelves full of weird, hard to find religious like manuscripts and pamphlets and things like that. They're like common sense, but if it was the common sense is that we're all demons waiting for the Lord to come and punish us, that kind of thing.
Yeah, all right, I got you.
So this seems perhaps like an opportunity to further investigate this mystery. Mm-hmm. It seems like it might be connected. Might not be. You might just be losing it, but it might be connected.
No. Well, maybe. He takes out a flask and just a little nip.
A little morning nip. So, what do you do? What is your move here?
I'm going to stand in the back of the room where he's reading
and
just kind of nonchalantly listen in.
Sure. So he's talking a lot about...
I still got my detective's notebook I've carried everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm just jotting stuff down.
So, I'm going to call this... We'll call this our first challenge. To see, like, if you can find out some vital information and pick up on little things. So this is going to be a simple challenge. So the way that this works is we have 4 piles in front of us. We have 3 EXUVIAE. Each of these is a thread of the cult that you're investigating.
Yes.
The three things, which I realize we should explain.
Yeah, we haven't explained any of
The 3 things, the 3 sort of threads that you've been chasing are these early American literature books. You've been chasing these dead bodies. And the other thing is there's a sigil that you keep seeing repeated over and over again. The first time you saw it was actually in blood over that first body. And they just claimed that it was graffiti or that it was an accident.
Odd splatter.
Yeah. But...
And to be honest, in my memory, I'm like, maybe it was.
You've hit exactly that point where you're starting to think. So you have these 3 piles in front of you. These 3 piles of 4 cards each. You also have a deck of all of the cards minus the face cards, which are cult actions that you can draw from. You have your choice. You want to draw high at all times to complete the challenge. So you can choose to draw from, we'll say that this third pile here. So you can take the 8, or you can draw from the pile.
Okay.
You have the choice of taking that 8 or drawing from the pile.
And I want it... The 8's my starter, and then I need to get stuff higher than that?
You want to... Yeah, so you also have the conspiracy, which is another pile next to it, which is you have the ace of spades.
Right.
So the way the conspiracy works is you want to keep adding cards to the conspiracy. But you can only add cards to the conspiracy if they are higher than the value of the card in play. Luckily, the ace is 1, so you can just keep throwing cards on it. But you want to draw cards that are successful in your action, and ideally that can add spades to the deck, because you have spades. Spades, and I will say that spades in the game represent molting or revealing clues. The nature of the conspiracy is starting to reveal itself.
That's good. So if I'm making a choice on what
Yeah, you can take the 8, or you can draw from the deck.
And then put that on the conspiracy.
Yeah, either way, if you take the 8, you can put it on the conspiracy. You can advance that.
I understand
you can advance that truth.
Sorry.
If you take from the deck, you might not be able to advance the conspiracy, because you can only add spades to the conspiracy.
Okay. Then, I guess I'll put the 8 since it's a sure.
Okay. Alright, so then that adds to the conspiracy. You have advanced this truth. Morris is giving this talk, and he's talking about the history of Angelford, and about the history of some of these religious movements that came out of Angelford. They're very fascinating. It's so interesting because a lot of times you had these pilgrims come out here because they were essentially kicked out of their home. Like, they were kicked out of the bigger cities, so they just went. They crossed over the lake, which is unusual, and they settled here. But the interesting thing is that the religious texts they're referring to are largely not Christian or any sort of Catholic, Christian, etc. It's that they're specifically talking about, like, we have to honor our earliest ancestors, the ancient beings that brought humanity on the planet. And the visuals on them are fascinating. It's a lot of insects and, mosquitoes and many eyes. They talk about the many-eyed vision of our birthing queen. Right? And it's very fascinating. It's very fascinating stuff.
Look up from my notebook when he says birthing queen.
I'm sorry. Did you just say something? Moving on. So he lays about that, and the thing that you notice, the thing that also advances the truth, is as he's laying this out, you see the librarian. You see Gertie, the librarian, is very uncomfortable, and she the talk ends, like, he wraps it up. He asks for questions, and she kind of like rushes the front a little bit. And is like, well, I'm sorry. Actually, we need to get backed up. We're having a banquet for one of our library donors in an hour. And she kind of looks at you to be like, clear out the space.
Okay. And I do. And then I go to help Morris.
Right.
Like, go back, like, gather his stuff up. And then once we're out in the parking lot, I want to ask him about... I pull out my notebook and I shuffle through it. And I have some of the names, like the authors and the book names from the victims.
Sure.
And does he know anything about them? Does he...
Wow, you've
studied this quite a bit. I'm very impressed.
I work in a library, so.
That's... I am jealous. I wish I worked in a laboratory. Let me tell you. I work out of my apartment. It is a one-bedroom apartment in Detroit. It's not nearly as glamorous as a library.
Well, I don't live in the library, sir.
Oh,
Why? Sometimes I sleep in the library.
I envy you. And so yeah, he starts opening up a lot about it. I'm gonna ask for another draw.
Okay.
This is just going to be a blind draw from the deck to see not if you get more information out of him, because you've opened him up, you've buttered him up, and like you've shown that you know what you're talking about, but more so to see if you can do it without necessarily being noticed.
Okay. So I pick.
So you're going to draw from the deck.
Okay, and I'm just.
And this is going to be a simple task. 10 success.
Oh, I get because of the action.
Yeah,
and I'll figure out this game.
So you've succeeded at the action, but as the 10 of diamonds. Yeah, you cannot add that to the conspiracy because you need to add the 8. You need to have the 8 of diamonds. Yeah, you need to have the 8 of diamonds. So you add that instead to your grip.
Okay.
You hold on to this. You can use that. You can add that to the conspiracy later, if you so choose, like when the opportunity arises. So this is information that's in the forefront of your mind, but you don't
figure out where it goes.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, and he's talking, and he's opening up. And what's good is that like he's like, well, why don't we go get some coffee? I know, like I saw a place on the way into town. I saw a place on the way into town. It's great. I'd love to stop there and get some coffee and chat more about this with you.
Okay. Yeah, I tell Gertie I gotta take off because the out-of-town guy doesn't know where he's going. He needs directions. I act kind of a number.
Yeah. Why don't you give him directions out of town, getting sure he gets on his way? That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll get him out of here. Don't worry.
That'd be great. So you go to the coffee shop, and he starts talking a lot about like the history of these various cults. You know, there's the Goodman cult out of New York. And he's like, but the really interesting thing is that like cults like Goodman, they tend to be very focused on the internal mind state. You know, they were talking about Krakatoa, the mind demon, but this is very different than that.
Drop that down like everybody knows what you're talking about.
That was a Party of One. That was a callback. So the Party of One fan base is gonna love that. They're gonna eat that up.
All right, just no inside jokes. It's a rule for a reason. It's fine. I'm left out. It's all right.
So, but the interesting thing about this is that it is so focused on like going back and worshiping this like this ethereal being that is like this birthing mother, and it's so visceral, and it talks from such a like the stuff coming out of Angelford, especially in like the 1730s, is so visceral, and it's talking from a place that feels like it's talking about something that's in the room, and I find that to be honestly fascinating.
Like the author's talking about something that's right there?
Yeah, I find it fascinating. The level of comfort that he has talking about this thing it's incredible. I mean, you've read them, right? Like, you know.
Yeah, well, I assume I've read whatever's in the library.
Yeah, and it's nonsense. It's weird. It's crazy person talk. Yeah. Like, you can't make heads or tails of it.
I flip a couple more pages in my notebook and I show him the symbol.
Oh yeah, hold on. And he pulls out a book, and he's like, "Yeah, look, it's right. That's so neat. Like, yeah, I've seen that around. Like, it's so interesting. Yeah, and he shows you the thing, and it's in one of these old books that came out of Angelford." And he's like, yeah, that's definitely the symbol of this particular, of the Church of the Birthing Mother. Like, absolutely, that's so interesting.
It's gonna color the BM.
Mm-hmm.
I regret doing that now. Does he know anything about? Do they have rituals?
Not that they've written about. I mean, they talk kind of obliquely about spreading the good word and things. It's a lot of like missionary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like rituals, it seemed like it was sort of just, you know, the standard like get together and sing hymns. Did
they ever sacrifice people?
Not that I don't think so. I don't think they were a harmful thing. I think they were just, an old religious movement, get together, sing some weird bug songs, and like, I don't know. Listen, I gotta get going. Is it alright if and he, puts down some cash for the coffee, and he's like, I gotta get going?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for your time.
Of course. I'm sorry, what was your name?
Flynn Kelly.
And he shakes your hand, and he hops in his car, and he gets going. So...
I assume I'd have a name tag.
Yeah.
Probably would have lied. That's why I was like, I should lie. No, I probably have a gold little badge.
It's just funny. He's asking if you had a nickname or something. He wanted to be your friend.
Yeah, he's going to go report back to Bug Central.
So, what do you do now? What's your next step of your investigation?
I mean, I guess I didn't... I learned a little bit. Nothing... I'll go back. I mean, I don't know how extensive this library is, and it's the 40s, right?
Yeah.
No internet, eh? So I'll go back to my library. I'll tell Gertie that the guy's out of town.
Sure.
What a weirdo, right?
Yeah, I don't super love. I didn't pick him. He wasn't one of my choices for speakers. I don't love
each their own, I guess.
I don't love when people bring in that sort of old... I think that stuff should just stay in the past, right?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't feel like we need to be talking about that type of stuff. Hey, so why don't you clean up that the basement area? We got that banquet dinner, and we want to give them a whole tour. Yeah, that room of yours, that private room, you could just clean that up a little bit. That would be ideal.
Absolutely.
And she goes off to...
I am the only person that has a key to that door. I want that stated right now.
I feel like she might have a key.
No, this is crap.
Maybe she just knows things.
And Kelly covers his tracks.
So what do you do now? This Gertie seems shifty.
Yeah, she does. I can't go around following people. Do I know, I don't know how well I know people, her parents and her relation to everybody else in town.
You could probably research them. That would be a draw, but you could definitely research them.
I was like...
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if I need to research this, or, I get that it's a...
You know of them, you know their names and such, you know the ham shackles?
Okay.
You know the family, you can identify her and her sisters and their parents, but... in terms of, knowing specifics about them, you would have to do some hard research. But, name... it's one of those towns where everybody kind of knows names and faces.
Yeah. But, okay, so... but what I'm going to go back to my microphage. And, is there some... would she know somebody else from my investigation? Or...
Yeah. Go ahead and make a draw for that. We'll call it tricky. This is going to be a tricky action, but... Okay.
Not sure what's good or bad yet.
2 is an oversight. 2 is an oversight. Character failed to take into account something critical. Either the action fails or it succeeds with a penalty. Okay, so what happens is... you can hold on to this, you add it to your grip. So what happens is you are researching, and you find some information out that, yeah, the ham shackles did know that first victim, Marty Malzone. That first victim, the first kid that got killed.
He was a kid.
He was 19. You would call him a kid, but 19.
Couldn't even get his first beer.
Skip, you just missed the war draft. He was actually working as an internship.
Or whatever you were going to say then. he was a football internship.
He was an ace football player. He was the quarterback of the football team, and Alphonse Hamshackle is actually the coach of the Angelford football team.
His relation to Gertie?
That's her father. Her father is the coach of the football team. He's also the superintendent of the school. Now, you're researching this. You're pulling out all of these files.
Mm-hmm.
what you failed to account is that you're doing this while Gertie is still working. And so, this banquet happens. You've pulled out all this information. You've pieced together that, like, there's connections. There's a definite connection to that first kid. You don't know anything for sure, but there's definitely something there. Afterwards, you know, and Gertie's shaking hands, doing the whole thing. You're kind of doing security. She kind of walks up to you, and she's wearing this nice gown. She's you know, fancied up for this fancy banquet. She comes to you. Can we talk in my office after the banquet?
Of course.
And the banquet ends. You know, everyone's laughing, and you're looking around, and you see Alphonse is there. A lot of the older, you know, the Chamber of Commerce people are there. It's a donor dinner. It's all wealthy old white folks.
Yep.
Gertie calls you into her office. She's still wearing the gown. And she calls you in, and she goes, so, this is awkward, but, one of the library assistants handed me a notice that somebody had taken out a ton of newspaper clippings about my family. You know anything about that?
It's embarrassing, Gertie. I was trying to find out some information on your dad. I just wanted to talk to him. You know, I've been off the force a long time, and I know that he's got some pull with the chief, and I thought maybe he could put a good word in. And I just, you know, I wanted to be able to be friendly. I wanted something to talk about. I'm sorry. I should have said something.
Make a draw for me. 3. This is going to be tricky. Yeah, this is going to be tricky. Yeah, that's fine. I can put you in touch with my dad tomorrow. In fact, and she's like, wait here, and she goes out. The oversight in this case, well, now first and foremost, as you drew the 3 of spades, you can add that to the conspiracy.
Oh, cool.
So you've gotten closer in that, and that represents the fact that, like, yeah, you can tell something is up. You can tell this family is keyed into things. She's like, well, wait here. And what the oversight in this case is that Alphonse is here. And so she just calls him in, and it's like, well, here, you two talk. I'm going to go back to the party. Alphonse is old. Fit. Weirdly fit. Like, you know that weird level of old man fit?
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like a Jack Palance thing. But he's real old. I mean, Gertie's an old librarian lady.
Oh, she's old, too?
Yeah, she's old. But he's like her dad. So he's like old.
Dads are old.
He's like old as fuck.
Right.
But he's like weird and jacked.
Yeah, it's a weird old
Got that weird puffy, like jacked up jacked chest, and his shirt doesn't quite fit.
He works out in a sweatshirt and that leather belt.
Yeah. Comes in. Oh, Kelly, you're the cop that got fired for the obsession with the murders. Yes.
I don't laugh at all.
What can I do for you? And he holds out his spindly, crooked hand and shakes your hand, and it's
shaking maybe a little too hard.
Oh, and he's giving you a soft hand too. Like, oh, it's not good. What do you need? You said you wanted to talk to me. You said I had some connections.
Yeah, I knew you were. I thought I heard somebody say that you're friends with the chief of police.
Yeah. We go way back. Me and Martin go way back. Yes. We're old friends. Did you want me to put in a word for you?
I would really appreciate it. You know, I don't expect to get back on the full force, but maybe a patrol or something.
I can definitely put in a word for you. I just need you to do something for me.
Yeah, what's that, sir?
This, you know, people talk. I make jokes, but, like, people do talk. And I like you. You know, Gertie tells me stories. She says you're a little eccentric, but you're good. Just drop this case thing, you know? Just drop this whole creepy, crazy thing that the, you know, the incident that got you fired.
Yeah, I barely remember.
All right. You do that for me, and I can talk to him and see if I can't get you a patrol.
I appreciate that, sir.
All right. It was nice talking to you.
You too, sir. You have a lovely evening.
He looks back at you for a split second and walks out. And then the banquet ends, everything wraps up. Gertie shakes your hand, wishes you good night. In the library, you're alone in the library for now. What do you do?
I'm going to have to relocate my crazy people room. All right. I assume there's a reason I didn't do it. Maybe I just didn't want it in my house because I sleep on like a Murphy bed that's also in the kitchen.
Yeah, I assume you...
Library security guard doesn't pay well, as it turns out.
Doesn't. Not even in the 40s.
Yeah. I have an apartment, Jeff. Yeah, I think I'm going to pack in my crazy people stuff and see if I can't get it back home. Cause I feel like they're on to me.
Okay. Make me a draw for, like, you start heading home. Okay, this is a success. You can put the 5 of hearts in your grip.
Okay.
You start heading home. Do you have a car? Are you walking? What's your?
I have a car.
Okay.
It's, I can get around town.
Sure. You start driving, and you definitely notice that you're being followed. It's a small enough town with, like, a few enough streets that by the time you take, like, the third turn to get to your 1-bedroom apartment, somebody's definitely following you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
I'm going to try do some detective stuff here. I'm going to see if I can't, like, get ahead of him real quick, somewhere I can pull over, I can stop, I'll leave the car on, I'm going to try to, like, get out of it before he sees me get out of it. And then the idea is that I want him to stop and be like, where is he? And then I'm just going to, like, beat his door.
Yeah. So make me a draw. This is going to be a, we'll call this a tricky. Yeah, we'll call this a tricky action. This is, you can put the 5 of diamonds in your grip. This is a tricky action for, like, going it without being noticed.
Yeah. Like
you've got
stealth, if you will.
A 5 is a complication. Complication is successful in what you set out to achieve, but it makes things harder. Okay, so I know what a complication is. You do that. You're at the door, and you almost, like, knock on it or whatever, and you see that there are 2 people in the car. You had planned for one person, but there are in fact 2 people in the car.
Do I recognize who they are?
You have seen them around town. You don't know their names. They are
pretty unusual, right?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a town where you know people.
Right.
They are, but they also look like they don't get out much. They have sort of sunken features, and their skin is real pale, kind of sweaty.
Yeah, well, it's
hair
the Midwest.
Kind of matted a little bit. Both of them have, like, thin sort of mustaches.
Gross.
And a little bit of chin fuzz, like they don't shave real well. Up awkward looking slimy boys.
That is a good band name. Oh, I hate slimy boys. I still knock on his window.
Okay.
That's great.
Rolls down the window, and it's a hand crank, so you've got to roll it a little bit.
Can I help you boys?
No, officer. We're just making our way home.
All right. Well, be safe. There's a lot of strange characters out here sometimes.
You be safe as well. Don't get into any trouble. Don't dig yourself any holes you can't dig yourself out of.
I like lean in. I'm like, you're going to want to keep at least 5 car lengths back if you don't want to get noticed. And then I walk off.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good. I'm going to ask for a draw, though. 6. This is going to be simple, because I'm going to relate it to your skill at decking fools. So that's a success. Yeah, that's a success. I think that's because that's you're intimidating.
Yeah.
I think that one of them. I think the one that's at the passenger side, the one at you, doesn't say anything. Like just kind of like looks at you blank, as if to be like, I didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. But the other one's kind of like, shit, and like just drives off while you're still in the window. You have to like pull back, and they like drive off. You can take the 6 of clubs and put it in your grip. Yeah. So you drive off. You know that they were following you, like it's obvious at this point.
Right.
So what do you do? Do you follow them? Do you just go home and rebuild your things?
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, I'll try to show them how it's done.
Okay. Make me another draw for following. That's a 4. This is going to be simple. That is going to be a complication.
A lot of oversights and complications. I blame it on all the drinking.
Oh, but
I could just sober up.
This is the 4 of spades. Good. This is actually perfect.
Yeah,
this is actually perfect timing.
Narratively works out.
This is great because every time you add 3 additional cards to a suit, you unlock a truth, which means you have unlocked a core rule of the conspiracy. To win the game, you've got to uncover 4 truths. You've unlocked 1 by playing 4 spades cards. What do you have in your... Just making sure. Yeah, just making sure you didn't have
5.
anything. Okay. So you've unlocked a truth. The truth is recorded each time. So, yes, and because this is spades, the truth is related to molting and revealing. So what happens now is you follow them. The complication is that they go to the community center. The complication is that there are a lot more. Because you pull up, and for being 11:30 at night on a Friday, the community center is packed with cars.
Huh.
The parking lot is... You have some trouble finding like a spot. You get out. They get out. They don't notice you, but they get out, and they go to the community center. They're joined by a bunch of people in similar... They're all wearing black suits. Black shirt, black tie, almost funeral dirge attire. Do you follow them into the community center? There are a lot of them. All of them wearing these identical black suits.
I'm trying to think of how... Like a spy movie or
the complication
movie?
The complication is that there are many of them now.
Yeah, no, I get it. Now I'm gonna try to get in. One, I'm gonna take. This is probably stupid, but it's the 40s. There's no gun laws. I'm gonna take my service revolver out of my glove compartment,
all right,
and kind of just stick it into my pants.
Sure.
And I'm gonna try to find another way into the community center, like a back door or something.
Yeah. So
I'm good at that too.
Yeah, you are. So I'll ask for a draw. I'm going to ask for a draw for that. It's going to be simple because you're good at investigation. So that's a 4, which I think is a complication. But you can put that in your... you don't have to put that in your grip because you have the 4 of spades. So, because you've drawn the 4 of truth, let me just confirm that. First, I want to confirm the action as a 4 on a simple action is a complication.
Okay.
4 is a complication. However, the conspiracy... Yes. So you've opened a new suit.
Okay.
Which means now you can also play. Which means you can play any. You can add any diamonds cards you have to the conspiracy.
Cool. So I have a 5 of diamonds.
You have 2 diamonds.
Oh,
you have 5 and 10 of diamonds.
Good looking.
You can add 2 of those to the conspiracy. You have almost unearthed the truth by virtue of cracking that new suit.
Nice.
The suit of diamonds is adult hunting. So not great. Particularly because you have a complication on this action, it's
cool. I guess you want to talk about. Can we talk about the game?
Yeah.
Because I like the way it's worked out narratively.
Yeah.
Which I know a lot of that's you, but
no. This is actually a lot of it's actually the game itself. This is actually timing. I'm seeing the timing of it real well. And the other thing is because you've unlocked this suit, the cult has taken notice of you.
Okay.
So again, very good timing on the game. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's cool.
So now I'm going to shuffle in these 3 face cards, which are the cult that's taking notice of you and taking action against you, if they come up.
I was wondering when they got added. I didn't know.
It's whenever you crack a new suit.
So you put the suit of face. Okay. I really like that.
It's a neat mechanic. Yeah. And all of these mechanics are now that I'm seeing it in play, the mechanics are coming together really nicely, and I'm really into this. So the complication is you go in through the back, and someone grabs you.
Ugh.
Guy in a black suit, much larger, but still the same sort of sunken, awkward, slimy features. This dude, similar mustache, similar like semi-unshaven, but like you notice that they are more out.
Mm-hmm.
Like the hairs are sharper. They almost look like whiskers, but they're like 1.5 inches long, and they're just sticking straight out. It's creepy looking.
Yeah.
Grabs you, asks you what you're doing here. You notice he has a tattoo on his wrist. It's a symbol that you recognize.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do?
Excuse me, sir. I was walking home from the bar, and I think I got a little... And I'm just going to punch him in his face.
That's fantastic. So because you are skilled at punching... you can... This will be a simple action... And because of the symbol, you can draw from that second pile. So you can take a 7 outright, or you can draw from the pile. And I will tell you a 7 is a success.
I'll take the 7.
Okay, then that adds to the conspiracy, as it's a 7 of spades. That adds to the conspiracy. Oh, also, in fact, I just also noticed you also have a 5 of hearts. You can add that to the conspiracy as well because you have a 5 of diamonds.
And that's going to add the...
Yes, that's going to add more insight.
So I can choose not to do it yet?
You can, yeah, I think you can choose to. I don't think you have to, but you can choose. So, okay, but know that you can add that later. Also know that a 5 of clubs has been exposed, so you can just straight up, you can add all of that next time something involves that symbol.
Wait. Why do I get to draw the 5 of clubs?
Next time you make an action involving the weird symbol, you can choose to take
because
that
that's
5.
the pile. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's a success. You took the 7, you added that to the conspiracy. That's a success. You knock this dude out. You knocks a tooth out. He goes down hard. But you are now unnoticed in the room.
I'm going to take a swing for the cartoony.
All right.
And I'm going to take his clothes off.
Okay.
And I'm going to wear his suit.
Okay, they're baggy. It's real baggy.
Yeah, and he's bigger than me, but...
You gotta tie that belt. You almost gotta, knot the belt to make it work. But you're wearing the suit.
But, yeah, at least...
Make me a draw. I'll let you take the 5 if you want, or you can draw from the pile. I'm going to call this a tricky action, though, and I will tell you a 5 is going to give a complication.
Let's see what happens. Less.
All right. That is an oversight.
Gotta stop drinking.
Oh, you can add that to the conspiracy if you like, and unlock that suit, or you don't have to.
Okay. So I could potentially unlock the hearts and the clubs.
Yes. And I believe you get a truth whenever you unlock a... Truths are recorded each time a new suit is opened. So, theoretically...
I could get to 3 truths.
You could get to 3 truths if you unlock. You could get to 4 truths and kick this into endgame. Or you can wait until you're better equipped to handle.
Yeah, I think I
Okay.
can do that.
Okay.
Things are getting revealed a little too fast.
Yeah, alright. So, what happens now is the complication, or the oversight, the thing that you don't notice...
I'm wearing a giant man's clothing.
Oddly enough, that's not the oversight. Because you look in and you see that a lot of them are just wearing these weird-sized suits. Some of them have patches on them, like a little slightly different shade of black, as though these suits have been passed down. A lot of hand-me-down suits, you notice.
It's a Civil War guy.
The oversight, and what happens is you hear, as sort of they start gathering in that big gymnasium meeting room, the lawn chairs are laid out. What happens, you hear the oversight, is someone says, "Where's Brother Cyrus? Where's Brother? We all need to be here. The family all needs to be here. Where is Cyrus?" And suddenly people are, looking around. And suddenly and people are looking around, and they're like, wait, where is, Cyrus is missing. Something is wrong. And, you see those 2 gentlemen. Tyler and Skylar. One of them says, this is probably a bad time to mention this, but the man that we were following, it was Skylar. It wasn't me. It was Skylar. Tyler, what are you talking about? It was Skylar. He revealed it, but he knew that we were following. And suddenly people start, looking around a little more suspiciously. Suddenly, now, people are on your tail. And what you see is that people are going to people they don't recognize and being like, are you supposed to be here? And you see them pull back, and they all have that symbol tattooed on their wrist.
Huh.
All of them. So what do you do?
Well, I can't, infiltrate now. And they're probably not going to start their dumb family picnic until they find this guy.
You could just hide and see if it all works out.
Yeah, sure. I will do that.
Okay, make me a draw for that.
Maybe they'll find his body.
Jack, this is an interruption. So they find you real quick.
This plan's falling apart.
Actually, let me see exactly what an interruption is.
I think it just means that it stops,
Okay, the action would have succeeded, but you run into someone that changes the direction of the narrative.
which works very well for this
Okay.
situation.
You run into Alphonse.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Alphonse is there in a black suit. It's actually the same black suit that you saw him in at the banquet. It's beautifully tailored. Everyone else is wearing these suits, and he's wearing this beautifully tailored, made perfectly for him, black suit. And he stops you. Kelly? What are you doing here? And he looks at your suit, and he says, Kelly, did you convert?
I'm trying to, sir.
Goodness, this is... I'm going to ask for a draw. You can take the 5, or you can draw, or you can take actually really any of the cards. I'll say. This is going to be tricky, though. So,
I don't know if I want to blow through that 9.
and the 9 actually blocks off. You can no longer use these other cards to reveal because you've got it blocked off in the jack.
Oh. That's kind of cool. So I would have had a chance to.
You would have had a
bunch
chance,
of truths.
but you waited.
Yeah, I consequence. That's cool. I like that.
I like that too.
So I can use that 9.
You can use that 9.
I've not been drawing great.
Okay, yeah.
Also,
So
I should be
describe.
card counting to keep track of.
So
what my
describe to me
statistics are.
that action and how it relates to the early American literature, the cult literature that you've been reading.
Well, that's what got me into it. I've been looking at all these books, and it makes so much sense.
It does.
Everything
make sense.
in them. It's so simple and it's so comforting.
And he puts his spindly hand on his shoulder, and for the first, now he puts his hand on your shoulder, and you feel it's prickly, almost, and it's like it's got tons of little tiny sharp hairs on it.
Mm-hmm.
He puts it on you, and you feel it, and you almost shudder, but you hide your revulsion. And he's like, "I'm so glad. I gotta tell you, Chief Westerfield, he was real worried about you.
I know.
He thought that you were gonna be a problem, but come. And he issues you in, and someone takes the stage. A man named. This guy has a name. You find it. Gustav May. Gustav is leading this big congregation. He says, "Fam, gather."
I have regrets.
And everyone sits, and he starts off on all of these things that sound very familiar to you from talking to Morris about, the birthing mother, about, honoring that which gave us our longevity, and all of these horrible sounding things. And he says, and people start singing it, but it's not singing, it's sort of just a humming. There's and it's increasingly just these long, solid, monotoned notes. And it's just getting louder and louder. And I'm going to need you to make a draw.
Okay.
To keep your cool.
Yay.
You keep your cool at first. But in line with revealing the conspiracy. You drew the King of Diamonds, so this is an interruption.
Yes.
And this blocks off your second grip. You have one more grip before you hit a dead end.
Yeah, and that's when time. I gotcha.
Yeah. Gustav, he's singing, and that's when Cyrus comes out. And the song, but they're still singing. And, you notice that you're the only one that even pays attention to when Cyrus comes out in his underwear and he's like, "Hey, it's that guy!" But it's too late. The ceremony has started. They're all singing. They're all just, and it's just on and on. And so, what do you do? Now Cyrus is, coming for you, and you see that he's got, a tire iron or a crowbar. And he's coming towards you. Blood is dripping from his missing tooth.
Brother Cyrus, I want to apologize for before.
Okay, so he does not buy it because you're not doing a monotone screech. And he is going to take a swing at you. So make me a draw for combat. This is going to be simple because you're real good Did not shuffle these as well as I thought I did.
There's a lot of face cards in here.
Punches you square in the jaw. You take him out, but suddenly everybody starts to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
As it was the Queen of Diamonds, so this is a dead end. So everybody starts to stand up, and they start like moving towards you, and you have to you basically have to run.
Yeah. Yep.
You gotta bounce. And you've got to lay low for a couple days. You assume that you've been fired from the library. just the assumption is there that you've been fired. So what happens now is, but you've laid low for a couple days. Thankfully, it's early in the month. It's like the 5th, so you just paid the rent, so you've got the month. So why don't you shuffle these? Since we've hit a dead end, so what happens is I take all the cards from the grip. I take all of the cards from the grip, and I shuffle them back into the deck. Oh, actually, no, I don't. Oh, well. I'm supposed to put them aside.
Oh.
Alright, we'll figure that out. I'm just going to take a bunch of cards. So the 3 face cards also do get removed. As well as... that seems fair. Okay, so I've taken your cards out of the grip, and I put them aside. They are discarded. They are no longer part of the deck. So now we draw 3 new piles. So what have you been up to in the last few days?
Am I being hunted? Or
You're not sure. That was a weird thing that happened, but you don't even...
Or it's one of those things where it's like, I don't even know I'm acting paranoid and weird to people, and they're like, all right, weirdo.
Yeah, you
I'm
were
like, stop following me, and it's just an old lady.
You're really not sure. Like, you had this weird episode that you're honestly, in the last few days, you're not even 100% sure happened. You haven't gotten any calls or anything. No one has ostensibly, come at you, but some weird shit happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you doing? What's your new approach?
Well, in traditional crazy person, I'm not crazy fashion, I've reset up my crazy people board at home.
Sure.
Which is just falling apart. It wasn't a great apartment to begin with.
Sure.
Just empty liquor bottles scattered all over the place. I don't know what I could do helpful-wise. My base of research was the library.
So, so you can't, so you know that Alphonse and the Hamshackles are in this. You know that there's Gustave May is this cult leader leading this old...
Did they say his name, or I just saw this guy?
He is a man about town.
Oh, so I've seen this person.
Yeah. He is a man about town. He's on the Chamber of Commerce,
well,
so you know him.
Do whatever I can to investigate him.
Okay, great. Yeah, go ahead.
How does the leverage thing work?
You can draw on them and in any way you want. In fact, we'll start out with that, and we'll have a call from Cookie, your ex-wife. She calls you, so a couple of days later, you've been laying low for a couple of days, you get a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Flynn, what the fuck happened the other night?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Well, try me, because I'm hearing that you got drunk and attacked a man at a Chamber of Commerce meeting?
Yeah, life's been tough.
Look, if you need help, let me, I'm not getting in. You know what? I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting involved, Flynn. I just worry about you, okay? I care. I still care about you, and I worry about you.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm being terse because I don't want her to get hurt. I really still have feelings for her.
God damn it, Flynn. Flynn, are you being terse because you don't want me to get hurt again? Again? She hangs up.
Stop being such a cliche, Flynn.
Damn it, Flynn. Flynn, can't you tell I still have feelings for you and I'm trying to reach out to help? And then she hangs up. She said all of these things. Yeah, so...
Every time she got home, he would just start narrating about how
the place has been...
fine piece of woman just walked into my... God damn it, Flynn, I've had a long day.
Yeah, all of that happens. So it just, you bring them into the scene when you want to, and then you can probably get information out of them without having to draw necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you end up having to draw, you can pull a lot more out of them.
Okay.
So if you want to talk to your partner, you can do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to try to do.
So your partner, Lillian.
The 1940s first lady cop.
Yeah, so Lillian's your partner. She's working the desk at the moment. She has not been on patrol in a little while.
Because she stuck up for me.
Because she stuck up. Yes. She stuck up for you because because you have know some secrets about her like personal life, and she wants them kept under wraps. So she's at the office. So you'd have to go to the police office, talk to her, or you could just call her desk phone because you have her number.
Call her desk phone.
Okay. This is Martinez.
It's Flynn.
Hey Flynn, how the hell are you, buddy?
Kelly. I picked two last names.
Flynn,
you're
on a first. You're on a first. You bastard! You got too close to the case, and that pencil got hurt. Flynn, how the hell are you? You're on a first name basis.
Yeah,
Flynn,
sure.
How the hell are you? Are you holding up? I heard they had a rough night.
Yeah, I've been better. I need you to do me a favor.
Yeah, anything. What do you need?
I need to, Gustav?
Gustav May?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm asking. I need you to look into him. See if there's anything on file. I don't know, just anything in the records about him.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, that's a weird one, but yeah, I owe you. I owe you.
It.
So make me a draw. I'm going to allow you to draw on any of these if you'd like. This is going to be we'll call this a simple. We'll call this a simple task, just to see what information she comes back with.
All right.
A 6, 5, or 6 is going to be anything other than that 4 is going to be a success.
All right, I'll take the 5.
Okay. You can add that to the conspiracy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So she comes back. Hey, can we meet in person?
Yeah. I was gonna say you come to my place, but I don't want to get involved in this.
You head to the town coffee shop.
Yeah.
And she sits down. She's like,
I have like a collar pulled up and like a hat.
So, this is weird. I couldn't find anything.
Anything?
Like anything. Like he's in the Chamber of Commerce. Like he was legally. The election results are all there, but like nothing else is in there. Like no address, no social security number, no family history.
Does he have a place? Do we know?
He's got like a real nice mansion on the outskirts of town.
But nothing's registered.
Nothing's registered. No family history. Nothing. Something. He's wiped clean. Like for all intents and purposes, it doesn't seem like he exists.
All right. Keep your head down.
Obviously, after today, yeah, I'm gonna. You do the same.
I will.
All right.
I'll probably call you in a couple days. I gotta look into something.
All right. Please do. We know you're okay. And she gets up. She puts down the money for coffee, which is 2 days in a row, or 2 trips in a row. You got free coffee.
This the whole reason I'm doing this.
She stands up. Hey, get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
And she walks out. So what do you do now?
I guess I'm gonna wait for nightfall, and then I'm gonna go to Gustav's place.
All right. So you go and make me a draw for because you see a few of these black cars circling the block around it.
There we go.
Perfect. 9 of hearts. That is a success. You put that in your grip.
Yes.
Yeah, you keep a low profile. They're sort of driving. You actually, what happens is you drive up and the cars all go the opposite direction. And they're heading towards that Chamber of Commerce. Like you know the roads that you can be like.
Chant session.
It seems like maybe. You go in. So you drive up. It's a real nice mansion. It's a McMansion. It's nice. It's like Michigan nice. It's like Midwest nice. So it's not the nicest. It is not well kept. It's actually kind of a mess. Like when you get up close, you see that there's a lot of like trash bags, and they haven't been collected. Like the trash people haven't been coming to collect.
Huh.
And like there's just more trash around than you would think.
All right.
Everything kind of smells a little putrid.
Gross.
Yeah.
Gonna try. Am I like at the house?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try the back door. I guess.
Okay. Make me a draw. We'll see how you do.
Not well.
Not well. Complication. You go to the back door.
Do that, right?
Yeah, you can do that. You
Add
can.
it
It's
to
a two. It's a
conspiracy.
2 of spades. So you add it to conspiracy. What happens is you start to go and you see putting on a suit in like the back servant area. What you is good old brother Cyrus.
Man, this
He's got a gold tooth now. And he's got a black tooth, like a marble obsidian tooth, and he's like getting dolled up in his suit that is too big for him. And he's a very large man. And he's like putting on the suit, so like you can go in, but you'd have to knock that tooth out
I'm
again.
just gonna say I'm gonna take my service revolver and just try to sneak up and bang
Okay.
on the back of his head.
This will be a simple task, so make that draw, and you just have to get over a 5. Perfect.
All right.
You can choose to add that to the truth if you can unlock that truth if you'd like.
I will this time.
Okay.
Last time I didn't get it.
So now you have 2 truths. You have 2 truths. No, you have 3 truths because you've unlocked 3 of these. You've unlocked 3 suits. You're 1 truth away from like cracking things wide open. You knock him out. You take the suit.
I don't need the suit. It didn't work
okay.
last time. It's fine.
All right. So you knock him out. What do you do now? You're in the house.
Very cautiously, I'm gonna keep an eye out for anything, but I guess I'm gonna try to look for like a master bedroom.
Okay. You're looking
Ooh,
around.
maybe like a study.
Yeah, you're looking around. You hear Gustav like getting ready and we're like rehearsing his speech, and it's a lot of that same birthing mother stuff that you remember from before. And he's rehearsing it, and he's talking about like embracing our destiny and casting out the outsiders, those that would not be compatible with our vision. And you can hear him, and you start seeing pictures on the wall, like you're walking, and you see a picture of Marty, the football player.
Malzone? Marty
Malzone, yeah. You start seeing pictures on the wall. Marty Malzone. That football picture of him on knee in the outfit.
That football picture.
You see that. That's weird. And you see a picture of Tammy Carlisle, the second girl,
victim.
the second victim. And she's on the wall. And you start seeing other pictures that you weren't investigating, but murder things that you had seen in the papers.
Mm-hmm.
You start seeing things that from your murder wall. You start seeing pictures pictures that would end up in the paper from your murder wall, your conspiracy wall, and they're all like just lining the walls of all these things. And you start seeing pictures of Gustav like at community events. And you come across this old painting, very old painting. Old like 1700s painting of a man in a beautiful black suit with tails, hand in the coat, Napoleon style. And he's got sunken, pale skin and a weird, jutting out whiskers. But he also looks real familiar. Looks a lot like Gustav. I swear it was the same person if it wasn't 400 years old.
Picture, yeah.
And then you hear him say, and then we bring her out. And the birthing begins. He says that to someone, and then you see, make me a draw to lay low. Actually, you can choose to also take that 3, but I don't know if that would...
Yeah,
you could also use that to unlock that final suit.
Add a complication.
You can just unlock that final truth if you want.
Yeah,
You just have to go down and see what he's talking about it.
All right, fine. That seems narrative.
All right, so you go down, and you remember what Morris was saying about how they described that birthing mother, the level of comfort they had with it, like it was in the same room? Yeah, it's in the same room.
Okay.
It's bug-eyed, prickly hairs, big, bloated sacks of eggs. Many eyes. Hundreds of eyes. Big bug eyes. But, like, more than just 2 of them. Like, 6, 8 of them. you don't think it was ever really human-shaped. Maybe it was at one point, but it's bloated now, and it's sort of just a mass of egg sacs and bug eyes and mosquito proboscis. And he's talking to it now, and he says, we're going to breed the next generation tonight, Mother. Finally, and he starts, you see him get down on his knees and start like, then can I rest? Can I die then? And it just kind of gurgles and acid spit kind of just falls out of its proboscis, and he just kind of like, no, I know, you need me. Understood. And you got all the proof that you need, but...
Well, alright.
How do you just gotta now just stop it.
Where am I in the house?
You are on the second floor on like a catwalk, looking down at like the grand foyer because they've wheeled her out.
Okay.
And he's talking to her as this attendant walked off to like the kitchen. Oh, also there's a complication because you played a 3.
Yep.
Because you got the final truth, but there is also a complication, and so that's going to be the final scene. As that attendant walks into the kitchen and says, Mr. May? Cyrus is in here. He's unconscious.
At this point, really, it's more likely that he just does this on his own. Probably has an aneurysm from the last time I knocked him unconscious.
Probably it's not good to get knocked unconscious.
No, it's really bad for you.
And he stands up, and he says, get her in the car. And he says, everyone, Flynn, I know you're in here.
Oh, no. I don't do that.
We're going to find you. You're gonna join us now. And they start, like, scouring the place for you.
How quick are they moving her?
She's heavy, so they've got to like boil her on a push cart and like work their way towards the front door. So it's slow enough that you can act if you want to.
Is there? This is weird. I can't stop thinking about this.
Sure.
You're like do something about it.
Sure.
Can I get to like a boiler room?
It'll be a draw, but yes.
Okay.
It'll be a draw, but yes. You get to the boiler room.
It's going to be a sad ending story.
You get to the boiler room, but there's a guy waiting, and he's got a gun pointed at you. What do you do now? He is human-esque, but he's got a proboscis and, like, spindly bug fingers.
Gross. How close
this
is
is one of the people they don't let out of the house.
How close is he to me?
10 feet. Enough that you could tackle him, but like you would have to draw, and if you fail, you get shot, and then probably the bad end happens.
Screw it. We'll do that.
Okay, that was that's actually a success. It would be challenging, but you're good at decking fools, so
it's my whole deal.
Yeah. So actually, okay. Then in fact, that unlocks another truth. So I'm going to say whatever plan you have in the boiler room works.
Cool. I was going to try to, like, knock off a gas main.
Okay.
And just, I don't know if there's, like, a candle or if I could leave something there. So I could try to, like, book it out of the house before it explodes.
Yeah, okay. Then I can tell you exactly what happens. What happens? You hit the gas main. Gas starts filling out. Gustav is just rambling. He's monologuing. He's a bad guy. He monologues.
Yeah, I haven't even been listening to... In the basement, you hear, like, a muffled, like... Oh, the flames of revenge sets will come again, Flynn!
Yes, exactly. But you hit the gas main, and 2 more of these bug men, these ones are the real weird ones that they don't let out of the house, sort of start to close in on you, but you got a lighter. You got some rags. You actually, what you do is you pull off the tie from this bug man in the black suit, and you light it, and you sort of throw it, and news reports over the next few days just say that it was a freak gas fire. Gas main malfunction. Gustav, when interviewed about it, says, well, no, Gustav died in the fire. Gustav dies in the fire. Well, they think. It seems like he actually had some sort of degenerative disease because, like, his body had seemed to fall apart in that last minute. Like, seemed to have been falling apart. Like, he had the body of a man that was decades older than he should have been as a healthy young 40-some-year-old man. When they found him, his body looked like an 89-year-old, minimum, earliest. But that was when the fire got him. Nobody really investigated the fire, or rather, they tried to, but Chief Westenfold just said, don't. It's fire. Let it be.
Oh, Chief, leave it alone.
They weren't, because, maybe he found some manner of redemption, or maybe he knew what was going to be found if they investigated that fire. There's no telling for sure. Where does Flynn find himself? A couple months later. In the weeks and months that follows.
Still not great.
Sure. You've seen some things that you can't shake, and you still see them when you close your eyes.
Yeah. Maybe he's back at the police force.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
They gave him a desk job. They're still not letting him go talk to people.
Yeah.
He's working pawn shop division or whatever.
Sure. He's partnered with Martinez again. The two of you are back.
A Hispanic woman cop. How progressive. It's the 40s, guys. It's the 40s.
It is the 40s.
I'm not a monster.
And the two of you are working together. You don't talk about that meeting in the coffee shop. You don't talk about Gustav. You don't talk about what she found. You just don't talk about it. Things are normal. Except one day, you're driving and you drive by the burned down... you drive by where the mansion used to be. And you're just on patrol. This is a couple months later after they've let you back onto patrol. You drive by and Lillian just looks at you and says, "Thanks." And the two of you drive off. Go back on the case. Everything's normal. Everything's more or less okay.
The rubble moves a little bit and there's like a bug claw comes out.
You stop by the station. Westenfold meets you. And he, shakes your hand. But it's a weaker hand. It's weak. His handshake is weak. And you look at him for a little bit. Sort of slimy. His features seem a little more sunken than you've ever noticed before. Mustache is a little pricklier than you would have noticed before. You don't know for sure. It could just be that he's a little sick. He's under the weather.
Mm-hmm.
Or... and that's game.
Here's your new partner, Cyrus.
Cyrus is in a police uniform. Hey, everybody. I'm back. Will, thank you for coming back on Party of One.
Thank you for having me.
That was awesome. That was really fun. So this game was really fun. I actually really enjoyed it.
That worked really well.
Now, I know what you're thinking is that I want to go enjoy this game myself.
I am. Well, not with myself, but with my friends.
Yeah, sure.
I have friends.
I know. No one said you didn't.
Yeah, it's weird that I got so defensive about it.
Actually, I'm just going to cut this because I don't fully know if it's going to be on Kickstarter when we do this. I don't want to do a whole Kickstarter thing.
Yeah, that would be meaningless.
So where can people find your work online?
You can go to plus2comedy.net. Our podcast is on iTunes, the Plus 2 Comedy Podcast. We're on Twitter and Facebook and all that, and that's the end of it.
Cool. Well, all right. I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that you can wrap up with the show.
Hi, future Jeff.
Take it, future me. Will says hi.
Thanks, Past Me, and thanks again to Will for coming onto the show. That was a blast. I absolutely loved it. You should definitely check out Plus 2 Comedy. They are a group of wonderful people doing funny, interesting, and engaging work, and frankly, I love them like family. So you should definitely check out their stuff. Also, you should definitely check out the Kickstarter for EXUVIAE. It's a wonderful, cool game that I super want to play again. I cannot recommend it enough. I think that you're going to dig it. A link to the Kickstarter can be found in the show notes. A brief reminder that if you like professional wrestling, or role-playing games, or me, or this show, or raising money for charity, I'm running a game of Worldwide Wrestling for Lawful Good Gaming on May 13th. There are still a few seats available. The price of a seat is just a $10 donation to the Southern Poverty Law Center. And you should definitely check out the link in the show notes and join me, because it's going to be a flippin' blast. Finally, you can follow Plus 2 Comedy on Twitter at Plus 2 Comedy. You can also follow Will on Twitter at WillLiamNerd. You can also follow this show on Twitter at Party of One Pod. Then like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/PartyOfOnePodcast. If you really enjoyed the show, consider giving us a nice review on iTunes. iTunes reviews, social media shoutouts, and word-of-mouth recommendations help the show grow, find new audiences, and do bigger, better, and cooler things, and I deeply appreciate every single one of them. If you want to hear more from me, check out All My Fantasy Children, the podcast where Aaron Catano and I take your listener prompts and turn them into beautiful, thriving, vibrant role-playing game children. That can be found at soundcloud.com/allmyfantasychildren. Party of One is produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Megaran, featuring the D&D Sluggers. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates or about coming onto the show, send me an email at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. That's it for me. Until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. And party on.
Never gonna die.